The Township Economic Development Bill in Gauteng was tabled and passed this week in the provincial legislature. It aims to encourage the starting and running of businesses by people living in townships. Could this be a game changer, as the government is suggesting, for the township economy? Well, let's find out from the Gauteng Economic Development MEC, Pakstau. Thank you, MEC, for joining me. So this is being heralded and hailed by yourselves as a game changer. Why is this bill's passing a game changer for the economy in Gauteng? What does it do exactly?
Thank you very much, Tulas, and good day. In many ways, as we engaged with stakeholders, even our stakeholders and participants in the public hearings, are convinced that this is a game changer because it enables us to have focused attention on economic development in our townships, on ensuring that we're able to effect both racial and spatial redress, taking into account that historically black townships were designed as dormitories of labor reserves, so redesigning them in a manner that's inclusive, that facilitates economic development, and that create different land uses is a very important milestone in changing the economic geography of our province and our cities. So we are confident that with a disciplined approach to implementing the Township Economic Development Act, we should be able to achieve the necessary changes and achieve the necessary levels of transformation that we anticipate.
For the avoidance of doubt, MEC, and I'd like us to just dispense with this point as briefly as we can. It's now been passed by the Gauteng legislature, just waiting now to be, signed into law to become an act.
Certainly, we're waiting. It's now been referred to the Speaker and then to the Premier for final signature.
Right. Among the many ideas that come through that seem to be the possibility, they have to do firstly with procurement, and as far as the Gauteng provincial government is concerned. What will this bill change in the method of procurement of the government of Gauteng that will put township enterprises at an advantage?
The bill directs that, in fact, the Gauteng provincial government should procure at least 40% of its goods and services from township-based enterprises. Now, that's a huge intervention to the extent that you're saying that whether it's at our hospitals, our schools, or any other facilities and infrastructure that we build, that we should procure directly from township-based enterprises. Not only should we procure directly from township-based enterprises, it says that we have an obligation in line with the Broad-Based Black Economic Empowerment Act to provide enterprise support to those enterprises that work with us, to ensure that we can ensure that our suppliers are necessarily capacitated to meet the requisite standards and requirements of provincial government. So not only are we procuring from them, it is also a commitment to directly support township-based enterprises in the work that they do in supplying us, but also as we facilitate access to market directly from the private sector.
Yeah, and I'll turn to that, the assistance and assistance with market access in a moment, MEC. But you're right to say 40% procurement from township-based enterprises is huge, and government procures a whole lot of services and goods on a daily basis. Just off the top of your head, what are the possibilities? Are we talking here things such as procuring furniture, shuttle services from township-based providers of such services?
It includes exactly that and more. We're also talking about manufactured products. So if you think about it, what does government use? And let's take a hospital setting as an example. You need products ranging from linen-related products to food-related products, whether it's bread and or jam or any other product that is used. It can be produced directly in the township. You also need basic stuffs like toilet paper and a whole range of other things. But in the way in which we've designed the Act, it is also to facilitate that, in fact, industries that perform at a higher level, whether these are in more complex environments, should be encouraged to locate themselves in the townships, and it should encourage an environment in which township-based enterprises directly participate in those industries.
Just about the only criticism I've seen, MEC, of the bill is it centers around the issue of subsidiary legislation, the regulations that are envisaged that they will be passed at some point, and the clarity, and some critics say lack of clarity of how those regulations will provide for the assistance you were talking about to township economies. Is it premature to be concerned about that, or is there something valid there for you to consider that the regulations, when you do pass them, they should be absolutely clear, and township-based enterprises should be left in no doubt as to what it is that they need to be able to qualify for funding, for example?
I think that in many ways the Act is designed in such a way that it provides the level of detail that provides clarity to anybody that seeks to engage with what we want to achieve, to understand what the Act wants to achieve. The regulations are intended to be at the level of detailed implementation, so I wouldn't be anxious as to the type of regulations that would develop. But one of the things that we are very conscious about is that when we deal with regulations, that it would be done in a manner that's transparent. In the process of developing the Act, the public hearings were conducted both by the Economic Development Committee, but also the committee responsible for subordinate legislation, which is a committee established directly to scrutinize matters related to regulations and ensure that there is transparency in the way in which we deal with those.
All right, thank you for that, MEC Pakstau, just giving us some insights and fleshing out the Gauteng Township Economic Bill that has now been passed by the province and now awaits the signature of the Speaker as well as the Premier, and then becomes a provincial act.